this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 199, would you believe? So yep, we are approaching our 200 mark. And for anyone who doesn't watch my channels, what we are doing reruns. So we are rerunning the first 100. So we are week number 199. So we've nearly got through them all. I'm just going to adjust my camera because it appears to be kind of slipping. Okay, right. So what are we making? This week we are making Roxy Creations Secret Double Pockets. Okay, so what you're going to need if you want to make along with me, I have brought along a bunch of different papers. Now, I have to confess, I'm doing these slightly different to last time, and we've talked about this. One of the bonuses of doing the reruns of the mass making is that we can kind of, you know, make changes and things. So last time I made a few from regular copy paper, and I found that I had to then reinforce it just so that I wasn't tearing it. So this time, to eliminate that, I'm doing them all on thicker paper. So this is all on 230, I think it is, 230 GSM paper / card. It is photo quality paper. It's paper that I have printed. And yeah, it's much thicker than, you know, this is 110 GSM. So this is still thicker than copy paper, but it's, you know, it's still pretty flimsy. This, as you can see, considerably, oops, I've got two sheets there, so that would be thicker, considerably thicker. But use what you need to use, or use what you have access to. By all means, you can definitely use copy paper thickness. For me personally, that's a risk. I'm likely to tear it, so I would need to reinforce it, which you can see in the first video. So, you know, week number 99. You can see it there where I did reinforce with book page and things. But this time around, I just thought eliminate that step and just use thicker paper in the first place. So I've got a variety of pages. Now, mine are all printables. That's because that's what I mainly have these days, but you can use anything you like I say. And you could use, of course, scrapbook paper and things, you know, if that's what you have. You're going to need some scissors. You're going to need some glue. Now, I tend to kind of grab whichever I have. Excuse this, it's got my poker tool in it, keeping the glue unclogged. So I use Anita's tacky glue, mainly for paper, and I use Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1, because they're kind of interchangeable, for fabric. But to be fair, I just grab whichever, you know, whichever I grab first. So, you know, I will be using those glues. You may need a bone folder. Alternatively, you can obviously use your scissor handles to, you know, score your pieces. I think that's probably pretty much it for the actual base, you know, pieces. But of course, you know, use paper trimmers and things like that if you prefer. You know, if you don't want to use scissors, use corner rounders if you want to do that for a little alternative look. And then anything you want if you want to decorate. Now, I tend to make blanks, and then I just decorate one for kind of, you know, demonstration purposes. But yeah, do kind of how you want to do it. So what are we going to do? Let's take one of these sheets. So let's take this one first. So I have got this page. Now this is from, I think this is from my Gilded Blues kit, and I've backed it with my header pages, so it is double-sided. And that was another thing I did forget to say. I'm sorry, I'm just going to move my camera because I did get a message from a lovely lady who, you know, I do appreciate you know, constructive feedback. So she was kind of just saying that, you know, she wasn't keen on when I zoom in too much, and sometimes I do that because I think that's probably helpful to have it zoomed in, but yeah, she said no. So, you know, yeah, let me know what you think. Anyway, this is from my Gilded Blues kit. I backed it with my header pieces, and yeah, the other thing that I had forgotten to say was you may prefer to have double-sided pages, because you're going to see the insides where you've got your kind of envelope flap type pieces. Okay, so let's make one of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and this is a paper that's got a right way and a wrong way. I don't think it's that, you know, necessary to keep it like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim off a little section from the side. And the reason why we're doing this is because otherwise we're going to have very kind of long pockets, which are going to just look a bit strange. So, and again, I'm not going to measure this. I'm just going to kind of guesstimate where I think I want it to be. So I guess I'm probably cutting off around about a third from the, you know, the length of the paper. Okay, so I will put that to one side because of course we might use that another, you know, another time. So what I now want to do is take my paper and fold it up here. Okay, like that. Now, again, I've folded it up and I've left a piece on the top, which is going to be sort of my envelope flap type area. And that's approximately about 1.5 inches that I've left for my flap. Again, no measurements, no, you know, no rights or wrongs, however you want it to be. All right, so that's going to be that. Now I'm just going to squish it down with just my scissor handles here. And then what you want to do is we're making 2 kind of sections to this. So Rachel took hers when she did her originals and she didn't fold it right the way in. So, you know, you're not making 2 identical pockets. You're making 2 varying size pockets. Okay, so like that. So you're going to have a pocket here and you're going to have a pocket here. Now you can see, you know, where my scrappy cutting has gone. I just need to trim that up. So, you know, you may not have that if you've used a paper trimmer. That being said, you may still have that because sometimes when you fold, your paper goes slightly slanted and things like that. So that's how you kind of just, you know, trim that off. Then what I want to do is cut this so as I've got 2 separate envelope flaps. I don't want to cut this because I want it to be, you know, a complete piece. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it in like this, and I'm just going to use, in fact, I'm going to fold it in this way so that I can see better where my fold is. And I'm going to cut in my envelope shape flaps. Okay, so like that. Now, I've probably done that a little bit too diagonal. Then I'm going to turn that round and just use that for here on this corner to get that one, and then again going to just use it on this corner to get that one. Okay, so like that. Okie dokie. So now what I've got are my 2 flaps. So they are going to fold down like this over my pieces. Now, what I found last time, what I wasn't very keen on with this, and this is again another reason why I say, you know, it's quite good doing the reruns, because I think we get a bit more of a chance then to tweak things and just kind of, you know, make them more to suit our liking. So what I wasn't overly happy with last time is, can you see here, my, you know, my tuck-ins here. So I'm going to be gluing this down this fold and obviously on the edges. This now is very tight to be able to get things in, which, you know, that's not necessarily a problem, but obviously, you know, it just makes it slightly difficult. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm just going to cut down slightly. Now, I haven't tried this, so I might not make a very good job of this. But what I'm thinking is you could take your piece and kind of fold it round. Actually, I don't think that's going to work. So, nope, scrap that idea. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it on this side where I can see a bit clearer. And all I'm going to do is just do a very, very shallow sort of a semicircle-y shape. Okay, so then what I've got is a much easier piece to get my, or a much easier entrance to get my pieces in. Now, if you've made not a great job like I did, you can always tidy it up. But I personally think that then makes that a bit more usable than it coming right up here. And again, do it how you want. If you are happy with it coming right up here, then that's fine. For me personally, I just like to have a bit more room. So what I'll do, I'll turn this over again so that I've got that fold line, and it just makes it a bit easier to see. And I will just do exactly the same on this one. Okay, they don't need to be identical because of course they're two different, you know, different envelopes. But you've then got a lot more room for tucking your pieces in. So personally, for me, I think that's a good little tweak, but up to you, you know, whether you wanted to include that and do that. So I'm going to take my Anita's Tacky Glue now, which is the glue I use for paper type items. And all I'm going to do is just pop some glue straight along my fold line and straight along this edge here. Now, I think there's no reason why you couldn't glue the, if I could learn to speak, why you couldn't stitch these. I'm not going to do that because, you know, I like to try and where I can do these, you know, mainly glued in the mass makes so that this is available for everybody. But if you did want to stitch these, then of course take this to your sewing machine. You'd just stitch down here. You could stitch down the bottom, optional really, and then you just stitch up this line here and then again up here, optional at the bottom. And that would save you having to use your glue. So, you know, completely up to you how you do them. Now, I can't remember whether I told you which papers I was using, but I know that, you know, I've had lots of requests. Could I always mention the paper? So I do try and do that. So this was the Gilded Blues, was the blue. And these are my vintage header pieces. So that's our little double envelope pocket. Personally, for me, I much prefer in this to my first version of this, like first time around. I prefer it in the thicker paper, and I do prefer it with these, you know, easier access. But like I say, completely up to you how you do it. So let's run through that one more time because, of course, you know, I went off track and spent quite a lot of time chatting and mucking about. So let's bring in another sheet of paper. So I'm going to bring in some of my butterfly collection papers. Okay, so that's these. I have coffee dyed the back of these because you know, again, they're not double side printed, but I do want to have something coloured on the other side. So we're going to start just exactly as we did in the last one by cutting the paper down, like say by about a third. As it happens, this is that very thick paper that my printer doesn't really very happily suck through, and it always does something weird at the end. So, you know, that's all fine. I've cut that off now. So this is my sheet of paper. Now, as you can see, I've just got a little tiny bit there where it went through the printer at a sort of, you know, going slanted. I'm not going to worry about that because this bit might be cut off anyway. So again, take this up, leaving the little sort of, you know, 1 to 1.5 inch line there. Again, bone folded this in, or scissor handles, however you prefer, and then you're going to fold it over. So folding it over, leaving that gap like that. Remember, no measuring, just, you know, guesstimating, seeing how you think it looks best, like that. Okay, now I'm going to turn this in the other way, and the reason why I did that, remember, was just so that it's easier to view where I need to put my envelope flaps. So I can put my scissors straight down, you know, to this very edge like that. Now I'm going to take my triangle, I've turned it over, and I'm going to cut my corners here. So one here, like that, and then this one here, like that. Okay, so, oops. Like that. Okay, that's it. Then I want to do my little kind of cheeky, you know, cut in here to give my ease of access. So again, just going slightly in. You know, there's no rights or wrongs here. So just, you know, sort of wing it to how you think it's going to look fine. So like that. As it happens, you know, that one's actually come out not too bad, so I'm going to leave that, and then I'm going to go in on this side and do exactly the same. So like this. Oh my goodness, like that. like that. Okay, not made a very good job of that one, so I'm just going to try and neaten this up slightly. So like that. I mean, you know, nobody's going to be looking at this sort of judging and thinking, oh, look, that's not quite symmetrical with the other side. So just, oh my goodness, can't get my scissors in. Right, just make it look as good as, you know, as good as you can. Like that. Okay, that's my whole piece there. As you can see, it's a little bit of an overhang here, which, I mean, I can probably neaten that up after I glue it in. So I'm going to get my glue and I'm just going to glue it down here and down on, whoops, this edge here, like that. And then down on that edge there. Get my dry wipe. Now, I know I didn't mention that you needed a dry wipe, but, you know, for me, that's kind of an essential for when I'm crafting. I like to have either a tissue or a dried wet wipe or something that I can just mop my glue out with. You know, these things are obviously all optional, but for me, that's sort of an essential part of crafting, I think, rather than having my glue just seeping out and having nothing to wipe it with. So like this, mop all of the glue out and really press it down nicely at the sides. There we go. I can trim off now on this edge where it's just slightly overhanging. So, and the reason why I saved that till I'd glued for tidying it up is just for this reason, is because once you've actually glued it in, you know, you may find that even if you trimmed it down, it's going to then suddenly start sticking out again because, you know, you've glued it and it's slightly moved. So, you know, it's just easier to kind of keep it until you've glued it. And then you can fold your flaps in. 1 and 2. Like that. Okay. There we go. Aren't they just lovely? I mean, just something a little bit different. I hadn't really ever seen these before when, you know, when I saw Rachel over at Roxy Creations do these. And they're just really nice because, you know, they're very kind of sophisticated looking, but very, very simple to do, which, you know, of course is what we all like, isn't it? So there we go. And we've got our 2 little pockets like that. So absolutely lovely, aren't they? So what I'm going to do is just start sort of assembly line style making these, and we can just relax, have a nice time, have a catch up, you know, have a chat, and yeah, just a little hangout. So I'm going to do all the stages together, which is what I mean by the assembly line. So I'm going to take my sheets and just cut them all down in the first instance and do it like that. So I'm just selecting a few that I'm going to use. I probably would be over ambitious to think I'm going to do many more than these. So yeah, just going to cut them down. So this one here, I might cut the sheet music edge down actually. So yeah, about 1/3 of the paper off. And like I said, it's just a guesstimate, you know, when I say 1/3. If you wanted to have yours the full width of the paper, that's fine. You're just going to end up with longer pockets. And don't forget, where we're doing them staggered, to do them staggered, if it was the full page, your back one is then going to be quite long and it's going to possibly be too long to stick into your journal. So you'd have to have it tucked in like there. So it's just kind of worth factoring those types of things in. Again, if I haven't printed these double-sided, I have coffee dyed the backs of these already. They're a little bit soggy because I only did that just now. And so they're not quite dry, but, you know, they're kind of drying. So, and I will try and remember to tell you the papers that I'm using. So this is from my new Steampunk collection papers, and it's from the brown set. There's 3 different sets, I think. There's a pinks and brights, and then there's a pastel-y colour, and then there's the browns. This is from the browns. And then this one was from the Junk Journal Basics Kit 2, set 2. So that's that one. And then this is from the Claridge's papers. So I'm going to again take this down, I think, on this edge. So yeah, I hope everybody is having a good day. I hope your week has all started out well. So for those people who watch my channel, you'll know that I film these videos generally on a Monday, ready to go out on a Tuesday. So, yep, I'm filming this on the Monday morning. Wow, it is such a drab day out there today. Yep, when I filmed last time, we'd just been having this spell of hot weather. So my last week's mass making, I'd rented my house out recently. I just that second got back into my house. And we were having like very, very hot temperatures. Wow. Well, it's gone completely a U-turn from that. And we are now... Well, we're not in the depths of winter, obviously, but yeah, it's not great out there. It's very, very, very drab today. It's, yeah, miserable, drizzling, raining, pretty dark. I've got the light on and yeah, just not a nice day. And it just couldn't be in more contrast. So, sorry, this is the damask papers in the pails, and this is from the Pink Parisian, the Paris Bouquet kit, and this was the Claridge's, just in case I didn't say. I can't remember whether I'd said or not. Okay, so I'm going to just fold these up like this. So I'll probably do all my folds actually at this point. So I might fold them all and then do the little cuts and things like that. So let's just fold them all in. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with the weather, but it's definitely taken a nosedive. So, yeah, what have I been up to? Well, we got back into our house last week from the whole, you know, renting it out for the, you know, the local event that I rent the house out for. And, yep, so done lots of cleaning and things like that this week. And, oh, the house is looking lovely and tidy and clean and, yeah, really nice still. So I am just being such a nag now, constantly, you know, mainly to my daughter, it's got to be said, because she's the messiest one. So constantly saying to her, pick your bag up, move that from there, and, you know, do this and do that. Because she just, oh, well, just utterly rubbish. I can't remember what it was that I asked her to do this morning. Oh, yeah, so I had a new eyeliner this morning and I couldn't get the, you know, the sellotape stuff off of it. So I said to her, oh, would you be able to peel that sellotape off for me, please? I said, I just can't get it off. And I watched her and she peeled it off and she just then, you know, dropped it on the floor. This was in my bedroom. And I said to her, seriously, don't just drop that on the floor. Even worse, because I had a carrier bag on the side where I had been doing some fussy cutting yesterday. So I even had a carrier bag there. So there was no need to be throwing anything on the floor. You know, there was actually a bag there for rubbish. So, yeah, she's terrible for just, you know, leaving her rubbish everywhere. So I'm trying to be, like, really on it with her and not let her just be super messy. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Very tough. I think girls maybe are just generally much messier than boys. I don't know, but... she definitely is very, very messy and super, super lazy. You know, like she doesn't see why she should have to do anything at all. She's kind of like, what? Me do that? What? Huh? You know, if you ask her to do anything, she's like horrified. She just doesn't see why she should have to do anything. So let me know below. Have you got boys and girls? What do you think? Is that a girl thing or is it just a her thing? What's the verdict? Yeah, nightmare. Anyway, so that's that. What did we do at the weekend? So, I can't remember. Oh, Saturday, I just worked really on Saturday. Did I do anything else? Do you know, I honestly can't remember. I think I just worked really on Saturday. My daughter was happy to just have a chill out day. So, you know, we were just in, I was working. She was kind of like just, you know, chatting to her friends on her little, you know, app thing that she does. So that was all fine. Right, I'm going to do my folds now in like this to form my booklets. And then I will fold, do my cuts for my triangles. Now, can you see here? I've got a bit of an issue going on where I've got like a little crease here. So, you know, that's just something else to be a little bit aware of. You might get things like that happen. Yeah, so Saturday just worked. She was just, you know, in sort of doing that. Had to go and pick my son and his friend up. They had been away somewhere. So, yeah, had to go and get them. Because, again, the trains were not running. They weren't on strike, but there was some sort of issue with them and they weren't running, so they couldn't get home. So that was a bit of a trek. So I had to go and pick them up. That was fine. And then, what did we do? So, yeah, that was that. And then yesterday afternoon, so, yeah, yesterday was when the weather started being really, really, really abysmal. So, yesterday afternoon, it was absolutely chucking it down with rain. So, I'd just worked in the morning. Oh, my sister's little boy, he had a sleepover on Saturday night. So, yeah, because we'd not really done anything on Saturday, obviously during the day, I thought it would be nice, you know, if my daughter obviously had him to sleep over and then they could obviously hang out and play and, you know, have a nice time, because it had probably been a bit of a boring day to her. Even though she was happy to chill out and do nothing, you know, I was aware that it had potentially been pretty boring. So, yeah, she did that. And then I'm going to fold this one in this way, because otherwise I always do things right-handed. I'm going to do this one left-handed, I think. So, yeah. So, anyway, he stayed over. And then yesterday, hideous weather. So, I just got up, did some more work yesterday morning. And then he went home, you know, Natalie came and got him and he went home. And then I went to the cinema. So, I went to the cinema with my daughter and with my eldest son. And, yeah, he doesn't normally kind of like hang out with me or anything. Anymore, but yeah, he did. He came to the cinema and we watched. Let me think. What's the film called? It's called A Haunting in Venice. Sorry, I nearly said A Murder in Venice, and I thought that doesn't sound right. A Haunting in Venice. So it's one of the Poirot films. So you know Hercule Poirot. So it's like the new, not season, the new round of them with Kenneth Branagh playing Poirot. So, oops, just checking that I'm doing this the right way around. Yeah, so I've watched a few of them, and well, I think there's been two actually. I say a few. There's been two, I think. So there was Death on the Nile, and there was Murder on the Orient Express. So this one was quite different because it was called A Haunting in Venice. So it was kind of more. I mean, when I say horror, of course it wasn't horror. You know, because it was only a 12A, hence my daughter could come. But she was super excited. She loves anything scary. And, you know, to her, she does not like going to the cinema at all. But when I told her it was, you know, a horror, oh, she couldn't wait. She couldn't come fast enough. Because she then deemed that as very, you know, grown up, very exciting. She was going to watch her first horror film. You know, so yeah, she was all up for coming. Well, it was quite a good film, I have to say. You know, I was lucky enough to go to Venice. Oh gosh, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago now, I think. I'd never been there before. Absolutely, what a lovely place. And my son had been there a few weeks ago. My middle son, this is. Yeah, it's just so lovely there. And you didn't see a huge amount of Venice, I can't lie. You saw quite a bit for the first like 10 or 15 minutes of the film, and then you didn't really see any more because it was all just based predominantly in like one building, which I sort of thought it was going to be like that. You know, the trailer looked like it was going to be like that, and it was. But yeah, it was quite a good film. I do really like those Poirots, and Kenneth Branagh, who obviously plays Poirot now, it used to be is it David Suchet? I don't know if I've pronounced that right. He plays Poirot really well. He's very different to David Suchet, but he is very good in the role. So yeah, really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was quite a good film. So that was what we did yesterday, and then yeah, the kids all had a takeaway. So my middle son, he had his friend here as well. So yeah, everyone had a takeaway. I didn't have a takeaway, but yeah, everyone else did. Yeah, so that was kind of it for our weekend. I have messed up my folding on this one quite badly, so I'm just going to kind of like rejig this. So yeah, that was what we did then. Now last week also I did go and see My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Now I went with my middle son. We often like to have, like, you know, mum and son time on a Wednesday, so we went and watched that on Wednesday, just me and him. So what an awful film. I feel really mean saying it, because I mean, I love going to the cinema, and to be honest, you know, since COVID, I know I've talked about this loads of times, there are really not many films coming through, and you know, it's such a shame, you know, because of course the cinemas are struggling, and you know, I mean, our local cinema, I think, is, you know, kind of, yeah, going to close down soon. But yeah, anyway, we, you know, do try and go, obviously, whenever there's anything on that's remotely seeming like it's worth watching. Well, I have to say that was not really worth watching. We went, you know, because I've watched obviously the other two. It's got that lovely Aidan from Sex and the City. It's got him in it. So, you know, and I've obviously watched the other two. I thought, oh, they're quite fun. I'm sure it will be good. Well, it wasn't really good. It was pretty awful, to be honest. You know those films where they just try too hard to be funny? It was one of those. And, you know, kind of like in the end, you're just watching it going, you know, that's just not funny. I haven't laughed once. And actually, you know, it's pretty awful. It had a really weak storyline, and just, yeah, it wasn't good at all. So that was a real shame. But yeah, we did go and see it, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. So again, let me know below. Have you been to see it? Did you like the first two? Did you like that one? You know, what did you think to it? Am I in the minority? Yeah, just did not enjoy it. So that was my cinema going. And then what else? So I also have watched this week, one of my gym friends said about a drama that she had been watching on, now it's not on Netflix, it was on that ITVX, which ITVX I think is like the ITV hub, but I think it's perhaps being rebranded, I'm not sure. But it's something to do with the ITV, and you can get all the ITV channels, so I'm assuming it is just, you know, the ITV hub. So it was an ITV drama. It was called Vanishing Act. Now, it was about, and I don't recall hearing about this actually, but during the pandemic, there was a lady in Australia, can't remember her name or anything, so I do apologise. But if you're in Australia and you're watching this and you know about this story, then, you know, fill in any gaps that I kind of obviously leave out or, you know, get wrong, because I'm terrible for not quite, you know, being very accurate with my re-storytelling. So she, in the pandemic, she ran something called a Ponzi scheme, which, for anyone who doesn't know, they're similar-ish to, you know, like the pyramid schemes. You know, so where like people invest and then, you know, the money builds up and all of that. So, and it's all fine until, like, if everybody wanted to draw their money out, of course that would then be, you know, not fine at all. I'm just going to have to trim this off slightly at the side because there's a lot hanging out, and if I don't, I'm going to not be able to make my round bit here very easily. So yeah, it was about her. Now, what she did was she set up a fake Ponzi scheme during the pandemic, and she, yeah, ran it. I mean, I don't know how long, just a year, or I'm not sure of the exact timescales, but anyway, she ran it, and she took money from everybody. Like, so she took money from, you know, like surgeons and very wealthy people who, you know, I think she just met through her, you know, through her running this Ponzi scheme. But what was you know, in my opinion, even worse. She took money from her parents. She took money from her best friend. She took money from, and I'm not sure whether this guy was a friend or, you know, who he was, but I think he was the first person who ever invested with her anyway. This youngish family man, he had like a child and was, you know, saving to kind of like send them to university and stuff. She took his life savings, you know, and you know what? She did not invest a single penny of any of this money. She took the whole lot of everybody's money and she just bought shoes and, you know, dresses and clothes and, you know, I don't know, flash cars and, you know, yeah, just frivolous things like for herself and her husband, but mainly herself, it's got to be said. Yeah, just absolutely shocking. For me, the most shocking part was because, like I say, she was actually taken from, you know, people she even knew, you know, her parents and things like that. So absolutely no conscience whatsoever. And yeah, shocking. Now the program started with she had been caught, or was being investigated anyway, and it started with her shoe being washed up on a beach, I think in Australia, with her foot actually still in her shoe. Now, again, I think DNA was carried out and all of that. It was indeed her foot. So, you know, did she commit suicide? I don't know. And the whole program, there weren't that many episodes, and it's got to be said, it was a very interesting story and a brilliant concept for a drama. I don't personally think it was executed brilliantly. You know, they could have made more of it and it could have been a lot better. It was sort of cut short a bit. It didn't really go into that much detail and things. It just could have been better. But she was very good. The lady who played it, I'd never seen her before, but she was very watchable and very, very believable in her role. So yeah, I would recommend it. Not the best as in terms of a drama, but certainly very interesting story. And like I say, all the more interesting because based on a true story. Now, at the end, and spoiler alert here, so if you're likely to watch this and you don't like a spoiler, please, you know, fast forward a few seconds. We don't know. We don't know whether, did she commit suicide? Didn't she? What happened to her foot? You know, I don't know. Because it never did. You know, her body's never been found. So we don't know. Yeah, let me know what you think. Have you heard that story? Have you watched the drama? Maybe you're, you know, from Australia and you'd heard that story, you know, all along. I personally hadn't. What do you think? What's your thoughts? Did she commit suicide? You know, did someone come and get her perhaps and kill her? You know, who she'd taken their money? I don't know. But it presumably made very, very big news out in Australia. It possibly made big news here as well, but, you know, perhaps I just can't remember, or, you know, let's be honest, I'm pretty awful with my retaining of anything, to be honest. So, yeah, it may be that I can't remember or just didn't quite, you know, listen properly to the story when it was being, you know, showcased on the news, during the pandemic at the time. But, yeah. So that was quite good, quite watchable. I binge watched it over like an evening or two. So, you know, not a huge amount of episodes. It must have only been 3, I think, which again, I just felt like actually it was quite a good story. And to be honest, they could have actually probably, you know, made more of that and made it a much grittier kind of like, you know, longer drama. So yeah, let me know what you think. Have you watched it? What did you think? So, yeah, that's my TV watching, cinema going. What else? So, I did a really big restock on my Etsy, my Shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk website. So, yeah, I've done a big restock on there. I will try and do restock video showing you some of the things that are on there. However, they're all repeat items. You know, they're things that I have stocked before. Obviously, they are not repeats as in, you know, they're not identical. So like I've got 4 tag bags on there. I've got the, you know, printed paper packs and things. All of those things, they're all things that I've had on there before. They are not repeat as in, of course, you know, I never really kind of make the same tags twice. So the tag bags, they're different to other tag bags that I've had before. And the printed paper packs, they're, you know, chances are different to other ones just because, you know, I get bored kind of making the same things. So even when it comes to just printing off paper and kind of coordinating those printed paper pads, you know, I quite like mixing them up. So yeah, there's those on there. There's lace clusters. There's some decorative fabric trims. Now, these are the only things that are different, and I'm just going to give you a quick show here. So this one actually is not on there yet, but I've got these big fabric trims. So I think there's 3 of them on there. Again, they're different. They're not, this one actually is not listed because I only made this yesterday. But this is the type of thing. And I'll just show you the other one, which I also made yesterday and I haven't put on there yet. So these will be going on there shortly, but I have got similar to these. So these are sort of lovely fabric trim snippety type rolls. So as you can see, they're much wider than a standard snippet roll, but they're very decorative and gorgeous, have lots of yummy, gorgeous things all on there. And then what you would do, you know, if you had a journal, and I'm just seeing whether I've got a journal here that I could pull in and show you. Okay, I've got this one. So not ideal, but just to kind of demonstrate. So you could obviously have this wrapped around the cover like this and cut it down in a portion. You could, of course, use it as a closure. It's longer. You get a 50 centimetre length. So you'd cut it down and obviously, you know, you could stitch some pop studs or something onto there, you know, something like that. Or, of course, you could cut this down into chunks. So, like, have little sections. And, you know, you could have that onto a cover or something. Or you could have it on a page like that. You could cut it into much smaller portions and just use these as little kind of like snippety type pieces. All sorts of different uses that you could use these gorgeous little fabric trims for. So, yeah, I think there's 3 of those in my shop at the moment. So that's on my website, shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk. I'm trying to think what else I put on there. I put some of the paper fillers. I think there were a couple of the envelope sets and things. So quite a few different things have gone into my shop. Like I say, I will try and do a restock video. It's tricky because obviously where I've got my new filming schedule, I don't want to kind of waste a, you know, an upload slot by just having a restock video, if that makes sense. So, you know, it's just one of those tricky sort of situations really. But yeah, if, you know, if you're happy to kind of like just have a look on there, you will see the items that are on there. And of course, you know, if you've watched my channel before and you've seen my restock videos before, you will be familiar with the types of things that are on there and what types of things they look like. So yeah, do go across and have a look if you think that any of that would be of interest to you. I've also been working still on my autumn kit. So I'm just going to actually put these under my leg because they need to be glued down. Now, I'm still working on my autumn kit. I'm just going to give you a quick preview just because, again, I had somebody ask what my autumn themed kit was going to be like. So this sneak preview, it's not finished yet, but I'm working on it and I hope to have it in my shop later this week. It is a harvest kind of theme. So we've got lots of gorgeous vegetables. We've got the blackberries and the raspberries. Of course, we've got the autumn foxes and animals and things. So yeah, and I'm hoping I'm going to actually have one of these in this, which is the very autumnal colours, and also a brights set. Again, it will just depend how I get on over the course of the week. But yeah, that should be in there. That will be on my Etsy shop because I have not managed to get my digis across to my website yet. So that will be hopefully something I will do well, at some point. So yeah, that will hopefully be coming out later on this week. So do keep your eyes peeled if you're, you know, in the, well, just, yeah, in the throes of kind of thinking about your autumn journal. So yeah, that is that. One more update actually is, again, if you watch my channel, you may recall that I did the Build Your Own Folio, and it was a physical kit that I had on my website, and we did the, you know, the Build Your Own Folio series. So had so much fun doing that, and I had lots and lots of messages saying, am I doing anything like that again? You know, because I can't remember whether I sold, I can't remember, to be honest, how many I had of those, but anyway, however many I had. So I had lots of requests saying, was I doing anything like that again? I am putting something together, working on a physical kit, which is going to be a, you know, an actual build your own junk journal, along with me. And yeah, I'm going to be selling a physical kit, which will contain every single thing that you need to make a journal alongside me in a series. So I'm putting that together. Well, I've put the kits together completely. It's a case of filming the series, and of course that does take quite a long time. So yeah, that will be coming up. And the reason, again, I'm mentioning this in advance is because I had somebody also message asking me about that this week and saying, was I going to be doing any more physical kits? So that will be coming up, but it could be several weeks off yet. I'm hoping when I say weeks, I'm hoping it will be weeks and not months. At the moment, I have only filmed one episode, and it's all currently buried on my desk, getting actually just further and further into the abyss, you know, just, yeah, dropping into, well, the realms of everything on my desk. So it's going to even be a tricky endeavour to actually find everything that is incorporated in the kit to even finish the series. But anyway, that will be coming up. So if you missed out on the Build Your Own Folio kit and, you know, you did want one, please know that there are some physical kits going to be coming up soon. It's quite tricky because it is actually quite a mammoth task to, you know, to build the kits, put them together, make the digis, find all the bits and pieces, put them together, and then film a series. It's yeah, a massive task. So that's why they just take so long to do anything like that and put them together. But please know that it will be coming eventually. So yeah, that's kind of yeah, that's work type talk. So there we go. Right, and I'm trying to give some thought at the moment to themes for Halloween and Christmas type kits. Now, I know I talk about this all the time, but honestly, once you've done a few, it really does become very difficult trying to think of new ideas and new themes, you know, on an old idea, if that makes sense. So, you know, obviously I've done, I think it's 4 Christmas kits. I think it's 4 Halloween kits. I think it's 4 autumn kits. So yeah, after a while, it becomes quite hard coming up with new ideas. So, you know, again, please do share below. What is your favourite, you know, general themes for like Christmas or for Halloween? You know, just, yeah, share below. What would you like to see? And I'm not saying I would definitely be able to do this, you know, and again, can't please obviously everybody. But, you know, it's just good to get some sort of ideas. So, yeah, just let me know what your ideas are or what your favourites are. So, and whilst we're on that type of thing, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who let me know your thoughts on the mass makings. So I was really touched and humbled because I love doing the mass makings, and obviously we're week number 199. I've only got like 1 week left now until we're back to do a rewind back to the beginning. And I was kind of gutted, really, to have to stop them because they're my favourite video to film. I really feel like it's the time when we, you know, actually really kind of connect, we chat, we, you know, have a really good time. And, you know, it feels like a very different format video to all of my other videos. And, yeah, was just gutted, really. So I was so thrilled that the majority of the responses that I had, the responses that I had, you know, to my question of would you like to see around 3 of the mass makes, the overwhelming, you know, majority was yes, you'd like to see around 3. So thank you so much. And definitely we will be doing around 3. I'm going to have a little bit of a tweak, so a little bit of an add-on in between. So I will, yeah, let you know that either next week or, you know, the week after. But yeah, hopefully we will just kind of continue on in our lovely mass making sessions. So yeah, that's fantastic and I'm so thrilled. Right, okay, let's have a look and see how many we did. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I've got one here now that I'm just kind of sat on at the moment, squishing it together. So I just need to trim this one down. So we have got 7 that we made. So I think that is one more than last time, which is a miracle because normally I'm horrified to see that I've actually made less than I make in the round 1 of these videos. So I've actually got slower at crafting, which is not a good thing. Right, there we go. So we've tidied those up. So let's decorate one. Now, which one shall we decorate and what should we use to decorate it with? Just having a look. Now I have got some of my, I think, some of my steampunk printables. So these are obviously my newest printables that I've done recently. Just grab them. And again, very annoying because as you can see, my printer has chopped off, you know, where it doesn't like this very, very thick paper. It's, you know, printed off and chopped off the tops. But anyway, that's fine. Now, I'm thinking, shall we mix this up? So this is the steampunk paper. And, you know, of course, the obvious choice would be to use the steampunk paper with the steampunk toppers. But I'm thinking, let's mix this up. So I'm thinking, shall we mix it up with either the Gilded Blues or this, or even, shall we be even more dramatic and do something with the pink? So let's just see. I mean, this might be just like super, super weird, but what do we think? Let's do this. So yeah, I'm just going to take a couple of these images. Okay, maybe this one. So, and these are from the steampunk, you know, fussy cuts or ephemera set. So yeah, you've got quite a few little bits to play with. Okay, let's just cut out a couple of these. I was going to just tear around this actually and then just coffee dye it, but I thought, oh, don't be lazy, actually cut it out. So yeah. Right, now, going to make a shocking job of this butterfly. So I'm cutting a lot of his little sort of stemmy type bits off and just, yeah, trimming him up to make him easier to cut out. So like that. Okie dokie. Now, I did talk about, you know, steampunk for me, it's not really a, what's the word? You know, a theme that I kind of like, I'm drawn to necessarily. So for me, I've quite enjoyed making my steampunk collection. And again, that was because there was a lot of, you know, suggestions and requests for steampunk as a theme. You know, when I put out asking for suggestions for themes. So it was a bit of a stretch for me to actually kind of like create steampunk themed stuff. Yeah, but I think, you know, we've kind of like achieved something that's steampunky, but maybe it's like girlied up a little bit. So we've got quite a few pinks and purples and all of that kind of stuff. which just then made it a bit more accessible for me. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I think sometimes if you struggle with a theme, you know, but you want to use it, then sometimes a way to do that is put your, you know, your usual kind of twist on it, i.e., you know, if you're drawn to very girly things, which I generally am, then taking the steampunk, which is, of course, you know, lots of gears and, you know, yeah, hot air balloons and men and all of that kind of stuff, but put it in colours which you find accessible, then I think that's quite a good way to, you know, to bring it into your reach, if that makes sense. So, oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look on there? Loving how that looks. Now I'm just going to check, because although I do love how that looks, I'm kind of thinking that would look good everywhere. So let's just try it on here. Oh, it looks lovely on there as well, doesn't it? Yeah. And let's just try it on this one, because now I'm thinking, oh, I think this is going to look great everywhere. It does look great everywhere, doesn't it? Oh, not sure it will look quite so good on here. Oh, it does still look good on there. Oh, I don't know now. I should probably go with the damask, because that was my first initial thought. But having said that, I do really like it on here as well. So I particularly like it on this. So this is the Claridge's papers. And yeah, like, not your first thought, is it, to put it with those? But oh my goodness, doesn't it look lovely on there? So let's just take this one. There's loads of circles in the ephemera part to the steampunk pieces, and I don't know why I've done circles, to be honest, because they're my worst thing to cut out. But for some reason I felt like I needed a lot of circles. So yeah, regretting that now, obviously. Now it comes to cutting, but oh my goodness, come on. Come on. Okay, oh my goodness. Right, okay. Here we go. Right, let's have a look. So yeah, got those. Now I've also got this lady, which I'm kind of thinking she could go on there somewhere as well. And I've also got this, oh, I was going to say the clock, but actually let's just cut out this hot air balloon for a minute. Okay. Okie dokie. Oh, Bo's off asleep in my bed at the moment. I know I talk a lot that she's kind of down by my chair. She's got like a little bed here beside my chair, but yeah, today she wasn't feeling that. She's asleep in my bed. She obviously did not want to listen to my rambling on today. So yeah, she's just tucked herself in and yeah, continued to sleep just in the bed. Sometimes she does that, which, oh, I can't help but just find that so cute. Okay. Right, again, so I've just cut off those like wispy bits from the butterflies, which, you know, I just find them quite hard to cut out. Oh, okay. And then just, yeah, and then I'm going to just do the same here as well. So just sort of shortening the butterfly wing really by cutting those bits off. Okay. Ah. I mean, honestly, it's going to be Christmas soon, isn't it? It's what has happened this year. It's just like gone by in a blink of an eye. I mean, literally, it's like blink and you miss it. It's the whole year has just gone. Where on earth has that time gone? It's just flabbergasting, isn't it? Absolutely shocking. You know, I can't believe here making the autumn kit already anyway. Can't believe I'm thinking about, you know, what to do for the Halloween kit. I definitely can't believe I'm thinking about what to do for the Christmas kit. It's just, wow. Where does the time go? Right, okay. So I've got these few bits now. So we'll just have a quick play around. And yeah, put some bits here. So I'm thinking it's quite nice to then, you know, maybe have something on the inside. Now, I'm thinking maybe she needs to go down under the flap. What about, I mean, that's a bit weird, isn't it? I guess having the hot air balloon probably should be behind her, really, not in front of her. Perhaps I should have her down here. Like that. Oh, I don't know now. I mean, the reason I put the hot air balloon in front of her, obviously, was because I thought, oh, that would act as a closure for the thingy. But, oh, I don't know. Unless I have her much lower. Now, can I do that? Oh, in fact, can I do that and have her attached to the hot air balloon and then the hot air balloon as a closure? That would work, wouldn't it? So, right. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a tricky situation, I think. So, yeah. Just trying to work out how to do this. Okay, right. So, what I quite like to do, if I'm gluing something as a closure, so like here, is I take something and I put it here. So see where like that is going to be, and that tells me where I need to apply my glue. Okay, so I know then not to put glue above that line. So I'm just taking some of that glue out because it's coming out a bit much. All right, so then I put this then back down here like that. Oh, do you know what? I was going to ink these bits up and I just totally forgot. So yeah, my mistake there. Okay, so that's my closure for that side, which I think is rather nice. Now, what I'm going to have to do is just quickly ink this retrospectively, which is a bit annoying. So yeah, let's just go over that like that. Okay, right, ink around the piece and then just take this out and just ink there as well. Okay, and then on my fold line and then just around here as well like that. Okay, and then just go around here. Now I will ink the back as well, just in case this is a pull-out piece instead of just a, you know, glue-in piece. So the whole thing is now inked up like that. Now what I'm going to do is take, oops, that's the wrong piece. Take my lady. She doesn't really need inking up, but just a bit in there where I've got the white gaps. So like that, okay? And then I'm just going to take my hot air balloon. Again, it's more really to disguise any shoddy cutting. So then what I'm going to do is just put her here, roughly where I want her to be. Okay, so my hot air balloon is going to be there. The other thing you can do, if you didn't want to muck about with an extra piece of paper, is put it onto your fold where it's going to act as the closure and just glue it there up to that line there. And that's doing the same thing that we did with that piece of paper. It's just showing you basically where you need to apply your glue to. So putting that down like that. Okay, mop your glue out like that. I just need to just ink this flap a bit more. Okay, right, so like that. And then my lady, I'm going to have over the top of that balloon like that. Okay, so just glue her down. Obviously she's going to need trimming off because she's going to be coming off of the page, and I will trim her off once she's on there because I don't know yet, you know, how much she's going to be overhanging. So like that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Come on, come on. Oh my gosh. Right. So like that and like that. Okay. So take my wipe, press her down like that. Okay, right, looking good. And then I can take from the other side and cut her off there. Okie dokie, looking good. So just ink there. So it's got a neat bottom then to that. Then what I'm going to do, tuck my closure in here like that, and then we'll just fold this over. And we'll just pop our little bits and pieces on here. So did we ink this piece yet? I don't think we did, but who knows. If I did, it's not really showing up. And then just, yep, I'm going to pop this clock on here as well. Okay. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look lovely? Whoops, getting glue everywhere. Not good, not good. Right, now, I've got just some lace here just to the side. This was just an old top that I cut apart yesterday, funnily enough. And it was, yeah, just had some lace on it. And I thought, oh, why am I throwing that away? I could use that. So, yeah, we'll just pop that lace, I think, just in there like that. Looks quite good, doesn't it? Right, so let's pop this clock down. Again, my glue is just not coming out brilliantly, so that's why I'm having to kind of like spread it with my fingers as well. So, yeah, that's the clock. And then here, I'm just going to apply a bit of glue onto like some of the solidy parts here. Okay, and we just, yeah, put the glue, put the lace down like that. Okie dokie, like that. And then get our hot air balloon and we're going to have it like that. So the hot air balloon, now I'm going to apply this with the hot glue. Now, like that. So quite a bit of the hot glue here. And then what I'm going to do is pop it on and not press it down too hard. And I know I talk about this all the time, but by doing this, you get a bit of a raised effect, which, you know, it's not like the glue dots. And I know I've said this before, but it's just a little bit 3D. So it's a bit more interesting than, you know, really squashing it down and putting it really totally flat. So yeah, it just looks a bit prettier. Now, just before I finish, I've noticed that I have got this little turquoise bit of lace. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to look good on there, but let's just see if we want to have this anywhere. Only because, you know, it is obviously turquoise, as are lots of the bits. So I just thought, it might go. Oops. And like we always say, you know, if you've ever got a little bit of you know, an inkling that something might go, it's always worth trying, because, you know, if you don't try it, you won't know, will you? As it happens, I don't think it does, but we might be able to have it here poking out at the back. So that's quite nice, I think. So I'm just going to put it down there instead. So just pop that down there. Again, I should have used the Fabri-Tac, but the tacky glue was just the one that, you know, was in my line of reach. So I just pop that on there. Okay. Pop that down. And then do we want any more of the turquoise lace? Just because, you know, now I've got this piece, I might as well just see if it can go on or not. Maybe over there. Or does that look a bit uniformy? Maybe up there. Okay, it's weird, isn't it? But just sometimes, you know, I mean, that other piece obviously looked a little bit kind of short there, but that one just looks good. So, yeah, let's just pop that down. Okay, like that. Right, mop those bits out. And then should we just have some black trim? Because, yeah, everything looks good with a bit of trim, doesn't it? So, hold on 2 seconds. Right, let me just get my black trim. Oh, or I have got some pearly trim, so let's just see. Oh, I'm thinking, I don't know. I was going to say I'm thinking the black trim, but actually, let's just try this. And again, I have got trim packs in my shop, you know, which have got some of these trims and things like that in them. So, yeah, if you wanted to have a look, then, you know, do head over there. Oh my goodness, come on. let's just take that down. Maybe like that. Oh. Just need to take off those little threads because they're just looking like weird spidery legs, aren't they? Oh gosh, can't really get those edges off. Okay, see how that's looking now. That's a bit better, isn't it? Right, do we want to have that there, or do we want, oh, maybe there actually. Oh, maybe it's better without the pearly trim and with the black instead. I've been using the pearly trim a lot lately, but the black is just always my favourite, to be honest. No getting away from it. The black's always just like, you know, the favourite, isn't it? It's just one of those that always looks good. Right, so there we go. That's it. I'm going to call it done there. So what you've got is you've got your opening, you've got a pocket here, which hopefully I haven't glued down. Oh my goodness, a little bit. No, there. You've got a pocket in there. And like I say, we've just had that addition of, you know, rounding here slightly, which makes it just much easier for tucking your bits and pieces in. You know, previously I just, yeah, I would struggle to put them in. Now I've got a lot more like leverage, you know, because I can obviously put things in and I've still got a very good gap there to be able to get things out. So yeah, I hope you like them. Like I say, totally not my idea. They were the lovely Rachel over at Roxy Creations. They were her idea from, you know, a little while ago now. But yeah, they're really, really, really lovely, aren't they? So I hope you like them. I hope you have fun if you decide to make some. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys in the next video. So thank you so much then. Have a fab week and I will see you in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.